Hi, Carol here. A warm welcome once again to my craft room. It has been a while, I know, so much going on, but I did manage to get a few videos up, and this is the first. I'm using some Yupo paper and some alcohol inks, and this is for another project coming up, but I did use some of these elements in this beautiful card for LDRS Creative. I started out with gold and I just kept adding these beautiful colors and moving them around with my heat tool, which you'll see in the next tutorials how wonderful the elements in this Yupo paper and alcohol ink lend itself to so many other projects. It's crazy. So I took the Alifair Build-A-Card die set. It's 9-piece die set. And I'm going to begin to cut out some elements from this Yupo paper now that it's dry. I'm going to pick out my cardstock from the Tea Time card, well, I'd say kit. It's a lot of cards that I have accumulated. Cardstock, the 6x6 cardstock. Love these. I chose some that match this Yupo paper so that we could pull them all together and create this gorgeous, gorgeous little card. That's almost 6x6 actually. I'm showing you some of the elements here. I'm going to take out this die set that's an LDRS creative die to use later on. In the edit, I had to take out a lot because I was making quite a few cards with LDRS creative products and die cuts. So here I'm going to take this out in white cardstock and run it through my die cutting machine. That's from the Fancy Rectangles and Layers die. That's a 6-piece die set. And then I'm going to use the Happy Days, that 5 die set to get the bow, the circle elements. This is a wonderful, wonderful die to have. And then I go back to the Fancy Rectangles for the banners to cut out. I'm going to cut out as many elements as I can for this cutesy-wootsy little card. I think you will love it. And the prices when you go and check my blog are spectacular for these dies. You're just going to fall in love with every element. And what I'm showing you here is what I'm going to use on this card. Now, I wanted to use up as much of the Yupo paper as possible, so that's why I'm taking out as many dies as I can. They're Teflon coated dies. Keep that in mind. These just fall out right away. You don't have a problem with any of the elements, and you can see all around me I'm just incorporating many die cuts to put into as many cards as I can create for this month, because I'm just a little behind due to circumstances. But I'm trying to get caught up, and I think you're really going to like this first card. So here we go. This is the round element that I'm going to cut out. I didn't want it to be, you know, a super long tutorial. So I sped it up in areas that I thought, you know, were self-explanatory. Notice that some of these dies are pink dies, the Teflon coated dies. Some are blue. They all go and they match different die sets, like in coordinating with different stamps and dies together. Yes. So as you can see, isn't it beautiful? I cut the outside, and you can see the little flags I cut out of the Yupo paper, that little tag on the far right inside that die cut, and that's from the Fancy Rectangle and Layers die that you see me putting them inside. Then I'm going to stamp this beautiful, gorgeous stamp from Polka Doodles. It's PD162. It's called Shoes, Shoes, Shoes. Yes, before I started crafting, I used to have a lot of person's shoes. Now my priority is craft products. Yeah, so anywho, yeah, so here we go. This is 2 dies. Now this Polka Doodles die, or stamp set, the Shoes, 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 is 2 stamps. So first I want to get my stamp press, my Fiskars stamp press. It's easier to get it in there. What I love about these stamps is they're sticky. They will stick right to anything you put on, whether acrylic, your platform, whatever you have, it is going to be nice and secure. I grabbed the hybrid ink because it's Copic friendly, and I love to use the black mini, and it's called Raven. I've used it in other projects. So I'm going to put clear LDRS Creative embossing powder on the outside. I'll scoop it back up, and then I'm going to use my Prisma pencils, some Gamsol, some of the stumps, and we're going to create a cute little scene out of the paper and the 6x6 pack that comes with the kits. You can see through my tutorials for LDRS Creative as a design team member, I am working with the kit that was sent to me a few months back, and there's so much in this box of goodies, and here I'm stamping out the dress. I want to just cut the dress out so that it'll match the background of my actual cardstock. So I just thought I'd fussy cut it and put it down instead of coloring in the little dress. And then I cut out a section with yellow in it, as you'll see after I fussy cut the dress. I cut it out of the Yupo paper because I thought the yellow, I may accentuate that that really nice shiny Yupo paper with the alcohol ink. I wasn't quite sure. They're so small, isn't that cute, that, you know, I thought I'll leave it till later till I get all the coloring done, keeping in mind that the set is Tea Time in the paper pack, the 6x6 papers, thick cardstock, you'll love it. And Shoes is the stamp set, which you're going to love. There it is with the Yupo paper. So I set both of these off to the side to see what will look cutesy wootsy when I'm finished. I decided to do the hair in Raven black, pink, and deep purples. I'm using the Watermark by LDRS and some of this really gold. It's called 14 karat gold actually, and it is made by Imagine Ink. I wanted this is where the shoes sit up on a pedestal. Now I'm going to outline it with a black Copic friendly marker right here. Yes, this is where I come in with a precision marker and I go over it all, but I didn't want this to be the focus. And the paper is actually, you can see the tea time. It has little cups and saucers, the mushrooms. It's gorgeous. So once I outline it, I just had to outline the hand there. Once I outlined the shoe pedestal stamp and the gold, you know I love to put a gold element in all my cards. I'm taking some of that off because I wanted to hold a shoe with the gold. So it will kind of contribute one to the other. You'll see the gold shoe and then your eye will come over to the right and you will see that pedestal with the shoes sitting down on it. And this will be the front of the card. So I'm going to go with that. I wanted her to be the main focus with the coloring. And then, of course, I did it again. I colored the face before I realized I didn't have my crazy camcorder on. But I will put the colors down that I used. I use the same colors generally to do facial features and skin. Here I'm going over it with the Nouveau marker. Love this Nouveau marker. It's, let's see, I have it right here, glitter marker. And it is called Strawberry Bonbon number 185. I'm going to go over all the elements that I want to shine and sparkle. And then I'm going to outline the shoes. It really does show up in real life. It's hard to see here because I have so many lights shining down on the paper, which is flat. But it has beautiful shoes sitting on both levels of this shoe pedestal. I'm going to outline the shoes here with my precision marker, and I'm just seeing if I have it here beside me to give you the number of it. I think it's a 0.03. Yes, it is, a 0.03 precision pen. by American Crafts. You can use a Copic friendly one. I am going to use this as the outline feature to my stamped image. So I set it aside, putting the Nouveau Crystal Glaze on it. You can do it nice and thick so it will be dry by the time I finish my coloring. I'm going to explain the face and the skin colors here. Underneath the dress, you do, of course, darker. Up in the features by the hair, you want to use a nice brown, chocolate brown Copic, or excuse me, these are my Prisma pencils because I'm going to use the stump and the Gamsol. So I'm going over it just to show you. I put the nose feature in pointing to the left so that it makes the cheeks stand out. I used a nice blush color on the cheeks, and I'm going to use the black precision pen to outline the nose, the mouth, the eyebrows there, and the eyes. I always use my black little, I'll find it here while I'm editing, but it's the enamel accents in black. I put the little eyeballs, they kind of go in a teensy weensy little oval, and I think she stands out beautifully. And then we'll begin to work on the actual coloring of the hair. So it has a cute little bow. I wanted to put in the paper with the mushrooms and the teacups and all that. There's a hint of this beautiful mustard yellow and this light lime green. It's a beautiful green in that paper pack. LDRS Creative paper packs are amazingly thick. And if you know me and you follow my tutorials, you know I love thick cardstock. So I'm going to, right now, just so I can get a handle on the hair, I'm going to place down the dress. Now, first of all, I put the Yupo paper. And I didn't like the Yupo paper. There was too much yellow sticking out. You can see me kind of fussing with each one. So I decided to use both. I will lift up the burgundy one that I fussy cut after I put the Yupo paper down. So yeah, it just threw it off. It threw the hair off, the yellow, that mustard yellow. If I had have done, look at me, just pull your shirt down and press down on your paper and it will secure that dress pretty well. So here we go. I'm going to add the yellows, get the bow done. I add turquoise, blues. You know I add a lot of colors upon colors. And I'm here deciding whether I should put down that other dress. And I did make my decision after I was finished with the flowers and the bow. It's so nice to use Prisma pencils, isn't it? And it's so good to be back. I need to do my voiceover editing when I'm not caring for my grandson. So I just had a few hours here by myself this evening, and I quickly ran to the craft room and made sure that I get this up. I'm working on a fabulous 2 other cards for LDRS Creative, actually. I just need to do the voiceover edit. And then I'm going to move on to my other design team and get some cards up for that. I'm going around the cheeks to kind of pop those out without adding any more pink. It's more in the shade of the cheeks of a pastel peach. I find that looks really nice. And here you can see I'm backing up with a light green for an underlayer. I do a gray on the hair because she is going to be raven black hair with purple hues. I'm adding pink to the bow to just pop off the hair color, and I'll move in with quite a few colors to match the little dress. I have it off to the side. I'm looking at it as I do the flowers. I think this image, as all the polka doodle images, it's just spectacular. Everything about it is spectacular. And what I like about these, you can follow the guide to the packaging. The coloring is beautiful. You never have to worry that they don't match. They're just gorgeous. The paper line is behind it, and you can pretty well put a card together just looking at the imagery on the front of the stamp set. Now, I do go over all my images with the precision pen if I didn't get a good, crisp black lines. If I didn't get good, good enough lines there. And so I'm doing that here, and it'll kind of make it pop off the page. I love this fancy rectangles and layers die. I love it for a lot of reasons. I love the stitching. I love that you have the outside to match the inside. It's terrific. So the first thing I do is figure out all of my dark areas. Anything that's at the root of the hair, underneath the face, underneath the bow, all the places where you think it's going to be shaded. And then I put my dark hues in. So whatever color you choose to do your hair, just remember that it's easy peasy. Do the roots dark, then come down the hairline and follow those beautiful guidelines. That's why the designer put them in there, so that you could follow it as you're moving along with your pencil. Keep your Prisma pencils nice and sharp, and it'll come out beauteous. Now, I'm using the side here. I'm putting down two different greens, light green, two different mauves to match the dress that I already put down over top of the Yupo paper. And the bow, I'm going to come back and do the teals instead of the green on the bow. I took a large stump, and I love the fact that I added the blue. That navy blue sets off that image nicely, especially using Gamsol. But I caution you to be careful with Gamsol if you hit the areas you've colored in with your Prisma pencil on the hair. So I try and stay away from that. And if I do have to go into the small areas, use a super thin stump. They come in all different sizes. And this, I just looked at the sheet of paper that I was using for the tea time. At the top, I wanted some mauve, some blue, and greens. Just deepen your lines with your leaves, your flowers. I'm going to add the Nouveau Crystal Glaze, so I didn't worry about the purple flowers not showing up. They will really lighten up once this Nouveau dries right here. It will stand off the hair. And then I'll go back and I'll sharpen up that pencil nice and sharp so that I can take the crisp lines with the black. And I added the green to the shoe, even though I did the embossing with the 14 karat gold embossing powder. And I really do, make sure you ground the feet. That's another issue. Make sure you ground the feet with the color. Now here I'm going to put this beautiful braided ribbon. I did not get it in focus for you to see how you started. So I stopped what I was doing after it was completed, and I ran and grabbed some nice thick satin so that I can explain how you do beautiful braid. You can outline the whole image with a braided ribbon, would look gorgeous, but I had something already in mind, so in just a minute I will show you how to put this together. The one thing I do is I set my paper that I'm going to color while I'm still working on this at a focus. Sometimes I don't look up on the camcorder, and it's such a detriment to do it later, sometimes I just wanted it for the top, and I ran out of this color ribbon, so I was really tied, if you get the drift, tied to the fact I only had this much to work with. I like the thinness of the ribbon. I like the satin on the outside, so I set it aside, and we're going to move forward, finishing up the coloring. Then I will pick out my papers. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to use. I knew that this cranberry wasn't going to work with the purple. Even though I'm adding some cranberry lines in there, I added some pleats to the dress. It came with some little dot lines, and I just substituted them for pleat lines, and you can do that. Now I'm going to go back and ground her little feet, those cutesy little shoes. Then I will pick out the papers. That I keep my pencils in beautiful glass bowls I get at secondhand stores. And here I'm trying to figure out the papers. So I'll set that up there. I'll run to my stash and kind of see what I have to work with. Now, that wasn't too bad. These purple, blue, and yellow, it wasn't that bad until I put that paper down. Till I used the tea time paper. It does not go at all. Now, if you took the paper out, but that's not the objective. I want to show you how beautiful this LDRS creative paper is. And I knew that everything was wrong for that lavender sheet. So here I'll see how nicely that Nouveau paper dried. So once I established the fact that it's going to be none of the above papers except for the black, I was ready to proceed, and that's with the, I think it's pronounced All-A-Fair, Build a Card Die Set, CB110. Fantastically priced, 9 pieces, and look at this. It makes your card for you. And I knew nothing there was going to work, so we just put that aside and go with black. Black will pop all of these purples off the page and the gold. So I made my own base. Now you want to make sure it's the width of your die cutting machine, right? You don't want to make your card base too wide because you won't, unless you have a large, you know, plus machine that you're going to put it in. But I was working with the Vagabond, and I thought, okay, I'm going to cut it down. I'm going to put that Build a Card die set down there, and it actually is build a card. You're building a card. It's fantastic the way that the opening is there to just, you know, build your card. Nothing else you can say. I turned it over so you didn't see the line. You put that as close as you can up to the top of your card base, like that, and then you'll just cut the 2 sides off to make it, so you have the fold to open up the flap. It's beautiful. So once this was down and I had it all figured out on my magnetic plate, you want to make sure it's in the middle. You don't want it too far off the edge. Then I'm going to put the gold glitter platform down and then cut it. Now, I had to turn it over and cut it again because I'm working with that black 110-pound cardstock here. I get it at Michael's. Everybody knows I use the black Michael's thick. It's as thick as my 140-pound cardstock. I go around and I just cut out what I need to bring it in where the lines connected and took it off. I love that it has this deep set stitching, and it is beautiful. I don't use dies that often to make my card base, but I tell you what, this is gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I love this Build a Card die set. Comes with a fence, clouds, so many other things, elements in there. I'm running all the sheets that I'm going to be using at one time with my Xyron 5-inch and get them all ready. Yeah, I backed it up because I had other elements. I thought, just do all of them, Carol, and get them all out of the way. Look at that. I love that Happy Days dies. The circular dies, they're so cute. And it just makes it easy peasy. I have a card coming out using that background there. Isn't that beautiful? I just love it, that hearts. Then I go over every one of them with my bone folder to secure the glue down, even put my image down there, and then we're going to start to build. That's the, if it's All-A-Fair, Alley-Fair, Build a Card die set, ALLIFAIR, All-A-Fair. That's what I say it is. And then once you have it all glued, you're just putting the backs down just easy peasy like this. I love the design of this Build a Card die. And I think you're just going to be thrilled at the prices. And check out the sale clearance prices. Spectacular. Your jaw will drop when you check that out. And here you go. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to put this on the top And once I moved forward to show you how I made it, it was easy peasy to put it on there. I grabbed my little tiny attacher, stapled each end so that you're not going to see it because I used the Happy Days die with that tiny little mini bow on each side. So the staple didn't matter to me. It would work out well if you do it lengthwise, like up and down instead of sideways, because the bow is so crazy beautiful and it's so mini. Yeah, see it there? It's so tiny, yet it just, it's beautiful. And there it is. You just fold those two bows back. There's the bow. There's the center. I added those little hearts, and let me show you how to make this beautiful bow, that ribbon. Now to make this braided ribbon, you're going to need a lot of ribbon. You want to fold it in half so you have, I wasn't going to use this, so I'm just showing as an example. Put the shiny side up, take the underneath forward and go on top. So loop that right hand over top to the left, then make a loop and slide it through the back. Yes, so your left hand is sliding that loop into the loop you just made, and you're going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, making sure that the ribbon lies flat. So here we go. Now I'll take the right side and I'll fold it and tuck it in the hole there that I just made. I'll proceed to make sure it's flat, pulling on it and go through, and you follow that as long as your braided ribbon is needed for your project. It's that easy. And then when you get to the top, I'll show you how I made a knot. The reason why it didn't matter at the end is because you're going to tuck it. So whether you make a nice knot or you don't, you're still going to tuck it. And here we go. I'm just making sure. Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah, back and forth, back and forth. And you're just folding it over, tucking it in the hole. Grab your right side, fold it in half, tuck it, and I just made enough to show you that you tuck it through. Grab the other end that you're going to cut off, then over and behind, just like that, tie it, do it again. I didn't do it here because I didn't need it. And then you tuck it, and there you have a gorgeous braided ribbon for any project. And I hope that was easy. You can slow it down on your machine, on your computer. Yeah, spit that out, Carol, right? And there you have it. Doesn't that look pretty? And then I used hot glue with these little mini bows out of the Happy Days die. That's number 8027. And hold it down. And then you can just cut the little pieces of glue. Tie that in a knot. I wanted to have two ends so it looked like a little pretty bow. And we'll put those two little self-contained mini bows. You just one die makes those little mini bows. Isn't that cute? And it's with the Yupo paper, so it's going to match the colors that I have. And yeah, a little bit of glue under the center of the braided ribbon. I think it's really cute. And how quick, if you need a quick card, this is the one to use the Build a Card die set. 9 pieces in there. Clouds, flowers, dragonflies, a beautiful fence, like a nice, oh, it's a beautiful fence. You should see this die. And then you have the actual build yourself a card instantly with the flap already there. So it's gorgeous. I put this down off of the tape. I want to add that right there. And see how that matches the bow. I took it out of the Yupo paper. I wanted to have an element to the side of a tag. Then I'm going to add the inside, the outside, all of them just through the die cutting machine with the die cuts beautifully. Love the paper, love the script. Yes, I had that, but it didn't match, so I took it out. I didn't use these. I'm going to use them in my next card. I think you're going to love the next card too. And I can't help it. And then I added these little hearts. That came out of that other die cut that I'm doing another project with. So keep all the gut pieces because you'll be able to use them for all different projects. And now I need to go onto the inside. And when you, yeah, this is already sticky, right? We ran it through the Xyron machine. So I put that around the outside. We'll add the hearts. The shoes stand out. I had this little flower in my stash. It's a sticker. And I put it on the inside. You can see the little two-step shoe holder there on top of the mushrooms. I went over all the mushrooms with my pen so they stood out. I took my jewel picker and I took some liquid pen glue. Love this stuff. I don't know why I haven't used this before. That blue that dries white. Yeah, it's the Martha Stewart glue. It's beautiful. So any glue will work, any liquid glue. And then I'm putting some hearts down just to add to the page. And I think this would make a beautiful birthday card for a child. I don't know. It just is so beautiful to me. That polka doodle shoes, shoes, shoes is so cute. And yeah, I put the glaze on top of the hearts. And then I'm going to do the eyes. I wanted them to, oh, I kept this in because if you use the enamel glaze, the black, and it goes all over, just take your cutting knife and slide it underneath. It'll pop right off. It's actually crispy, that enamel accents, and it'll pop right off and you can start your eyes or whatever you're doing all over again. That's the beauty of enamel accents for your eyes. And always tap it and use it first before you go down onto your project. That helps too. Now, you know me and my mini little pearls. I thought I've got to go over the edges. Not only after I get my eyeballs back on here, and there's adorable. This is adorable, this image. And so I went around with my little mini pearls. I went around the edges because this is a stitched die. This 9-piece die kit, the Build-A-Card die kit, the Alifair, it has stitching. And so the pearls draw your attention to the detail of the stitching. And it's gorgeous. I mean, I can just imagine a little girl getting a card like this for a birthday. And with, I mean, what little girl doesn't like buying shoes, right? What adult doesn't like buying shoes? And it's so good to be back on my channel and to get some work done. Yeah, I have another week of caring for our grandson, and then I'm back into my craft journal more on a full-time basis. So thank you for being patient with me. I appreciate it. And you know, we all only can do what we can do, and I love designing for LDRS Creative. And so I decided to get on here and get this accomplished while I had downtime. And here it is. So I'm going to set it on top of my baby wipe jar because I don't want those eyes to be squished. So I added the inside piece, and that's to the Happy Days. And I think that one, these are just so well priced, it's crazy. So I put that on there, and then I went to another set that I got. It's LDRS Creative Lacy Envelopes. It was in the first kit over on, I think this was on the Hedgehog Hollow first box that I received, if I'm right. But it's an LDRS Creative Lacy envelope set called Love Letter. And I love, speaking of Love Letter, I love this die with the hearts. It's not uniform, and it's all, there's the die there. I love it. Yes, this is a wonderful die set. You can go over, I'll leave the number 8047. And it has the arrow, it has so many elements inside here for the Lacy envelope. I cut 2 of them out to stack, 2-fold, and it's so pretty. It's just pretty. You can go to your stash and add a little bit of this and that to your card, but I wanted to keep it as simplistic as I could, yet to have that vintage, there it is cut out. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I just love this heart. And the heart die, and that's from the Love Letters Lacy envelope, and I'll leave the link on my blog. And yes, I was trying to see if it would fit in my 1-inch Xyron, but it doesn't. I had to go to my large Xyron and run it through. And no, did I use glue? I must have used my Nuvo glue. Look at that. I've been down to the end of this glue forever. I don't think it ever runs out. Anywho, yes. Isn't that gorgeous? And then I put one on top of the other. And then I added it to the circle. And I love everything about it. That's all I can say. I know that we're designers, but I think you have to love what you design. And when you check it out, I'm just taking some of the glue out of the little gut pieces there with my pokey tool. And isn't that cute? You can put your happy birthday sentiment here, but I chose to use an LDRS creative die that says love because it has the heart element on the die, on the die. So it all matchy-matchy. So when you open it up, you have the love. I ran it through the Xyron. I think I did 3 of them, if I'm right. And I stacked them 3 high. Could have been 4, I'm not sure. But look at the little heart that it ends with. And it starts with the heart. I think it's beautiful. The font is gorgeous. So I stacked those up. I put it at the top of the card. So when you open it up, you see the love. You see the lovely heart. All these dies. Just a beautiful, beautiful set. I'll add an envelope to it when I've finished. And yes, it's so crazy pretty. I do love it. And then just add them right onto the sheet there when you're stacking them. See how it ends with that heart? It's so pretty. Thank you, everybody, like I said, for your patience waiting for me to find time to get my tutorials up. I am working as hard as a little busy bee to get some of my design team projects up, and I'm having a blast. I sure have missed the craft room, that's for sure. And I've missed you, and I've missed your comments, and thank you very much to my new subscribers. Check out LDRS Creative. I will put the links on my blog. It'll come up shortly after this tutorial goes live. And there you have it. I hope you enjoy the pictures. Isn't that gorgeous? Everything about it. Yes, I think it's a cutesy wootsy little card. I love it. And thank you for your time. It means the world to me. And yeah, have yourself a wonderful, blessed week. It's heading to the weekend. I can't wait because I'm going to spend tomorrow evening and Saturday creating because we're supposed to get storms coming in. So that's a perfect time to create, isn't it? So take care. Check out LDRS Creative. I hope you like this little card as much as I liked preparing it for you, creating it for you. Take care, everybody.